Hey guys, this video is going to be sponsored by me and my merch, so go ahead and check out my spreadshop.com. Link's going to be in the description as well as in the about. Sometimes the subscribes and likes is just not enough, and I put out free content, so go ahead and check it out. It means a lot to me. So we'll go ahead and get started with today's video. Alright, so in today's video we're going to go ahead and change out the thumbsticks. So I believe I have a whole bag of these. This is I'm just doing this for one of my friends. Well, he's paying for it, but oh, here they are. I'm all looking all over for him. So yeah, you can buy a bag of these for, I don't know, $10, $20. Usually if you pay more, you get what you pay for. I think that one right there is like an Xbox one, but I think these green ones are the PS4. Whoops, dropped it. So I bought a bunch of these. I'm not sure what brand they are. Oh, they're the Alps brand, actually. So you want to go with the like brand name ones. I've used replacement sticks that are not branded. And I'm breaking out the gloves today because this controller is grody. And to my friend's credit, I'm not calling him grody. Maybe his kids are, because he's like me. He's pretty much a neat freak. So I'm using a 00 Phillips tip. And then I'm probably gonna wash this in the sink eventually with, Dawn dish soap. I think I got them all. It's been a while since I've been in one. See, I do offer this as a service, but it's only for OEM controllers like this, which is original equipment manufacturer. And I think there's one behind the label. And I usually don't care about labels on controllers because I'm trying to see where that is at. Because as you can tell, like, when you're using it. But yeah, you can tell how grimy it is. So, alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to look for that other screw post. Okay, so I think I actually peeled this all up, which wasn't hard to do. It's all grimy, the controller was. So there is no screw under there, so I'm using a plastic pry tool. grab a different one. And you kind of want to be careful because there is a ribbon cable that runs to the touchpad to the circuit board. Okay. I think it's kind of hard to do with gloves on because it's slippery. But you can see how much stuff gets in the crevices and things of that nature. See, I've done a few of these in the past of my own, and I sold that PS4, so it's been a while. I sold my PS4 when I got the PS5 because I figured someone else could get more use out of it. Seems how I think all my games were compatible with the PS5. Alright, so I'm going to get this the rest of the way and then... Alright, so we're in. So I pretty much had to brute force it open. This one's kind of a different design than I'm used to. I don't think I've seen this revision. So here's a touchpad, so you got to pull that ribbon cable. And that will just come away. And then just so you don't short anything out, unplug the battery. And you have to be careful with that, you know, when you're using pliers that your Chihuahua chewed up. You don't want to crush the connector. And then these rumble motors are pretty fragile, but it has a bracket in it, so that could be your saving grace. And then right up here you have another, I'm trying to remember if this comes out. Right here you have another ribbon cable. Oh, okay, this one goes to the light, so let's sound like an idiot on that one. I'm gonna pull up by that blue tab. So that one goes to your touchpad. I think I did shoot a video on this. I don't know if it's still on my channel or not a long time ago, but I could have took it down because I'm gonna keep that screw with that. And then, so what you want to do at all costs, if you can, don't fuck with these, because these will be a pain in the ass to get in, to get back in, if you can. If they fall out, then yeah, that just makes a longer video. Okay, so wow, I'm surprised the buttons didn't fall out. So I don't know if I will scrub this one up or not. I know I'll clean it, but I think I might do it. Because yeah, this filth is even all the way down in here. And oh. Ta-da. All right, so we got that. And then sometimes these will tear, you know, rip. And you could buy a set that kind of looks like this. I think that one's a salvaged one. But yeah, you could change the dome caps. But, you know, just because I make very little money on this, I'm not going to change these. So these just come off like that. And then you could clean them up to where they look like they're new. So yeah, you could change these if you want. You know, it's optional. If it's your own controller, you want it to look brand new. And you know, I charge $50 per controller because it's my friend. I'm doing 2 controllers for him for cheap. You know, $50 for both. If someone wants like a new battery, because these typically run down after like 5 years or so. Then you have a big PS4 collection, or you just want to put it somewhere else in the house, you know, if you have a PS5 like I do. That's what my friend's going to do. He already has a PS5, so he just wants this probably somewhere else in the house. Now, this is kind of optional. You can desolder these if you want, the motors. But I like to keep it simple, stupid, also known as KISS. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my desoldering pump and let's see, this might, it's kind of optional, but I think I'll put some no clean flux down. And just remember, you're looking at this from the back side. So let's say, this is what I learned over the years, is if you want to replace this one, because that's usually the one, especially if you're a Call of Duty player, where you're, you know, your character is looking down at the ground or strafing. That's called stick drift. So if you're having that problem, then when you flip it over, it's going to be this one. It's the primary one. Usually you want to test it out, but I haven't tested this one out because I'm just, you know, I'm gonna do all of it. Let's see, I'm gonna try to come in here with, so flux is kind of optional. I just do it to flow the solder. And then you want to get in there and then kind of wiggle it around. And you can, so this on a bunch of my videos, you could find these on Amazon for like $30 to $40. They're not too expensive. It just makes the job a lot easier. I did have well, I still do have a desoldering gun, and I replaced the tip on it twice because it's, you know, cheap just like this thing is, but every time I buy a new iron, like I replace that whole part. It broke the second time, so I said screw it, and I bought this thing, and I don't know, suits my needs, I guess. If you're gonna do, let's say you're gonna buy a bunch of these controllers and you're just gonna resell them, maybe on eBay or something, then I would probably invest in like a Heiko, was it like FR 300 or whatever, desoldering gun. So that might be worth it. So I'm gonna check my work here. Wow, it's kind of blurry, but yeah, I did forget one. So yeah, you kind of want to wiggle it around and then suck it up. And look for, I have a metal pry tool, but I'm not sure where I put it. Oh, here we go. With these metal pry tools, sometimes you got to be careful. Okay, so and that one looks like it's kind of sus. And I think what I'll do for that, I'll just take this leaded solder . Oh, jeez, I don't even have my iron turned on. But yeah, I'm gonna melt that on, so I'm gonna wait for my iron to heat up and then we'll do that. All right, so should be all warmed up now. All right, so what I'm gonna do is warm this pad up. I'm just using like cheap leaded solder. And what I'm doing is, just to explain it, because sometimes I forget to explain the, you know, why you're adding more solder on. And basically what I'm doing is I'm putting more on so this thing could suck it up to clear the hole out better. And off camera I had to clear out these little ones next to it, so. Oh, whoops, what am I doing? Because yeah, it is real easy to pull traces. Okay, looked like it popped out of its holder. So yeah, it's just pressure fitted on there. And see if I can look through. Whoops. I'll look through my magnifying glass. It does look pretty clear for the most part, so. Whoops. All right, so it's very rare for it to just fall out. I think what I'll do is, these ones are where the ground plane's at, so. I'm gonna try to trim those back a little bit and see if that makes a difference. All right. Sometimes you gotta go ham on it. I try not to. Okay, so reason why that happened is because these holes are probably not as clear. So I'm just going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to flood these holes. And sometimes it never hurts to add more flux. Man, I'm just moving everything. All right. And I do have a fume distractor, but it's not, I don't even have it hooked up, so. See, that one looked like it cleared. And sometimes when you're moving it around, you might have to, okay, that looks a little better. And yeah, that's why I charge so much for controllers, because it's not always a walk in the park. Okay, so I'm just going to take my knife edge. I'm going to run that back and forth like that. And a lot of times this is like the lead-free solder. So that's why it's like a pain to clear the holes sometimes. So I'm just pulling on that. So, you know, like you have to get out in pieces, you know, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. I had another friend, I did a like a cheap controller, and none of the thumbsticks I had would work for him because they're, you know, completely different, like a third-party controller. So I just went ahead and just swapped his shell over because he wanted the, you know, I bought the same controller and just swapped the plastic shell over. So that's why I don't do third-party controllers, because we don't know what kind of parts they have on the inside. All right. And then what I'm going to do is solder braid. All right, so I'm just going to free this board from this cage. So sometimes you might have to just do that if you're having a hard time. You know, just make it easy for you to work on. All right, so I'm going to put down some more no clean flux wherever I put that at. And let's see, like if you can see light through it, usually you're okay, but so I'm going to take my desolder wick. This is has no clean flux built into it, but I like to put I like to put more flux down. And have it look something like that. And the reason why they call it no clean is it's not as corrosive as some other flux, or it's not corrosive at all. So like technically you could leave that on there, but I like to use like a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol just to clean the old flux off, and that way I could put some new flux on. And then you want to check the other side too. You know, make sure you didn't pull any pads, and make sure everything is clear, which it's not. And yeah, sometimes it's better just to figure out what stick is drifting. So that way you don't have to go through as much. I mean, if it's a customer and they're paying me to do it, then I'm gonna go the extra mile. So I'm just gonna flood that and flood that. And then we're gonna put down some more flux. And then right here, you know, we have to be careful because right here, there's like a little resistor or something. So keep that in mind. All right. And we're going to turn it because we only want the pads. Okay, looks like we have that one cleared. This one is being stubborn. So yeah, you kind of want to just take your time. Let's see, it's this outer one. And that's what sucks about plated through holes. Sometimes you have a really hard time trying to suck all the solder out. So I'm gonna cut my braid again. So let's try the desoldering iron. And sometimes hit it from the back side could help. Alright, so when that doesn't work, you're going to flood the hole again. Come in with your desoldering pump. And it looks like we got it. And then, okay, I guess we have one right here. So, now you want to try to put your new one in. Oh yeah, goes from the bottom to, all right. And see, these holes are not quite clear, so like I said, take your time. I pulled plenty of pads on controllers and it sucks. That one I'm probably gonna have to reflood. So the center one's the only one that's not complying. So yeah, this might be a good reason to, like, if you are doing like eBay and you're getting a bunch of junk controllers and you're fixing them up and gonna resell them, then you probably want to have a Windows PC or something that has a controller test program, so you can see which thumbstick is causing the problem, and it'll save you a bunch of money as well as time, as you can tell. All right, so yeah, I didn't quite get it, so I'm gonna flood the hole again. I'm just gonna keep doing it until it's 100% clear. All right, here we go. You know, that's better than we got. That might actually work. So and sometimes these just don't line up that well. Okay, so we got that there. Seems like it's the PS4 ones I always struggle on, like the Xbox, like especially the OG Xbox. Those, like, it seems like it just sucks right out. So as you can tell, we have a fitment problem. So, oh, yeah. All right. Man, this is gonna be a long video. Okay. And because the plated through hole is smaller on the top side versus the bottom, sometimes it's harder to get it through. Jeez. And that could be a ground plane, which means it's harder for the solder to come through. All right, so I'm just gonna do the rest off camera, not to make this video too long. All right, so I got it. So I had to use, this is just like a rod. It comes with a desoldering pump. So if you have electric desoldering pump, then this is the rod you get. If you get one of these manual pumps, you don't get anything with it, but you can use that. So yeah, I actually cleared out my iron, which you pretty much have to do a lot of maintenance on these. Yeah, so yeah, I just went ahead and cleared it right now. But also with these game controllers, sometimes you might have to get a pick or something like this and stab a hole if you have a little bit of solder just in the way. So yeah, you could tell these are a little bit different. Yeah, I'm not sure. I might do both, or I might just do one side on this one, but I haven't tested it. I think this one's a Sony branded. No, this one's Alps. Yeah, they're both Alps. So you want to get that Alps part if you want to go OEM. And I think because this board uses lead free, I'm just going to stick to lead free. So you just want to take your tip, and then you want to make sure this is 100% flush, or you're really going to notice, like, and if it helps, just put some light pressure, because you don't want to bend the, yeah, you don't want to bend it up. And what I would do is do one of these ground planes, which is the big metal part that goes around the stick. Just kind of tack it in. And do opposite sides, so that way you could check, see if it's flush all the way around. It's sitting flush with the board. And then you want to check your work, make sure there's no bridges. And you see how this one is dull? So I don't recommend using flux non-stop like you see on YouTube, but go ahead and flood that in. All right, so that solder joint's gonna look more wet. Okay, there you go. So I'm just gonna kind of do the whole process on the other side, and then I'll get the case cleaned up and put it all back together. All right, so I'm just halfway reassembling this. So I already have my touchpad put in, or the ribbon put in. And you want to do that before you put this on. And I've already taken it to the sink and scrubbed. I just did the top shell. Just kind of want to screw that on, and then you want to, make sure all your buttons are still there, and these are moving. If these don't move, then that means you didn't solder it flush. So I had that happen where the part was falling out when I was resoldering it. But that's okay, that's how you get it experience. And then you're gonna put this ribbon cable in. Whoops. Oh, help if I didn't go in crooked, right? Okay. So there we go. And then so it kind of snaps together. And yeah, you could tell I didn't clean the, well, I did clean the bottom a little bit. But yeah, it's a lot cleaner than it was. And then just put all your 4 screws back in. Remember this label, just leave it there. I think it does depend on what revision you have. So if it doesn't unclip, just stop. There might be a screw you're missing. But yeah, go ahead and rate, comment, subscribe, and check out the description down below if you want to check out any merch or anything like that. So until next time. And yes, I did forget to put the battery in, so don't forget the battery. Until next time.